Good morning. Today is Saturday, the 30th of January, and today's passage is taken from Acts 17, verse 29, right through to Acts 18, verse 7. In yesterday's passage, Paul reminded the Athenians of who God was, the creator of the heavens and the earth. And in today's passage, he starts off by reminding the Athenians of who we are. We are God's offspring, it says in verse 29. It's so important that we know who we are. We are children of God. And it's also important that we know whose we are. We are the sons of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. The God of heaven and earth. I love the Bethel song, I'm no longer a slave to fear, I am a child of God. I just want to read a few words from that song. I'm no longer a slave to fear, I am a child of God. I am surrounded by the arms of the Father. I'm surrounded by songs of deliverance. We've been liberated from our bondage. We're the sons and daughters. Let us sing our song of freedom. Paul challenges the Athenians. If they know who God is, then that demands reaction. God isn't some idol made of stone or wood. He is the God of the heavens and the earth, and it demands a reaction. And in verse 32 to 34, the reaction that we see is that some Athenians believe, a few believe, but others maybe they're not interested at all. And it's a lot like today. We can preach the gospel, but it's not up to us to bring revelation or conviction and salvation. That's God's job. We do what we can, and God will always do the rest. The second part of today's passage talks about Paul moving from Athens to Corinth, and in Corinth he meets Aquila and Priscilla, two Jewish couple who have fled from Italy because of anti-Semitism, because of persecution, and here starts a lifelong friendship. In Romans 16 verse 3 it says this over Priscilla and Aquila: Greet Priscilla and Aquila, my fellow workers in Christ Jesus. They risked their lives for me. Not only I, but all the churches of the Gentiles are grateful to them. Priscilla and Aquila were the cornerstones of the early church. They held a church in their home. Paul stayed at their home, and I believe they were later martyred for their faith. But it reminds me that the Christian faith is not a one-man band. We need each other to spread the gospel and to bring glory to Christ. The second part of the passage talks about they were all tent makers. And when I think of mission and being a missionary, I used to imagine going to the ends of the world, taking very little, depending on God for everything, and never coming back. But a tent maker is what you do. Paul, Aquila and Priscilla, tent makers, they didn't actually make tents, but I think they used leather goods and materials and so on. But the thing here is that they were tent makers. God used them where they were. God used their job, their trade, their career. What we do, where we study, where we live, where we work, is our mission field. And I wonder today, what would it be like if we saw our place of work, our university, the street we live in, the people we have community with, as our mission field? How would that transform the world? Thank you. Have a nice day.